Listen carefully. Overthinking is the slowest form of self-destruction. It kills your confidence, poisons your energy, and weakens your spirit long before the world ever gets a chance. Most people are not fighting life. They are fighting the noise inside their own head. But you don't have to live like that. If you learn to control your mind, you become unstoppable. If you fail to control it, your mind becomes the enemy living inside your own skull. Today, I will show you how a warrior trains the brain to silence fear, destroy overthinking, and remove negative thoughts before they take root. Pay attention, because once you hear this, your mind will never work the same again. 1. Stop feeding the enemy in your mind. Negative thoughts are like an enemy living inside your own mind, an opponent you strengthen without even realizing it. Every time you replay a painful memory, every time you imagine the worst outcome, every time you allow doubt to whisper in your ear, you feed this inner enemy. You give it more energy, more influence, more control. A thought by itself is powerless. It cannot touch you. It cannot move you. It cannot harm you. It becomes powerful only when you give it attention. Your attention is the fuel that keeps negativity alive. Just like fire grows when you add wood, negative thoughts grow when you give them focus. When a thought enters your mind, do not react automatically. Pause. Look at it the way a warrior observes an opponent. Ask yourself, is this thought making me stronger, or is it weakening me? If the thought weakens you, if it shakes your confidence, if it brings fear into your body, you must cut it off the moment you recognize it. Do not welcome it. Do not argue with it as if you owe it an explanation. The moment you start reasoning with negativity, you give it legitimacy. You give it a seat at your table. You must understand something very important. The more you fight a negative thought directly, the more power you give it. Fighting it means you believe it deserves your energy. Explaining yourself means you believe it has authority. Just observe it and let it pass. A thought that receives no attention has no life. Let it starve. Let it fade. A true warrior does not spend his strength fighting every shadow inside his mind. He builds a mind so disciplined, so controlled, that the shadows cannot survive there. He refuses to feed the thoughts that weaken him. He refuses to feed doubt, fear, shame, or imaginary scenarios that never existed. He starves every mental weakness until it dies naturally. Train yourself to recognize which thoughts deserve your energy and which ones only drain it. The moment you learn to withdraw your focus from negativity, you gain the upper hand in every battle of the mind. Remember this truth: the enemy in your mind cannot survive without you. Stop feeding it, and you will discover how powerful you truly are. 2. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. Most people suffer because they make a simple mistake. They believe every thought that appears in their mind. They think, if I am thinking it, it must be true. But that is not how the mind works. Your mind produces thoughts the same way the sky produces clouds, constantly, automatically, without asking your permission. Some clouds are dark, some are light, some are meaningless, and some carry storms. Thoughts are the same. They appear, they disappear, and they often have nothing to do with who you truly are. You must understand this clearly. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. You are the one watching them come and go. When you forget this, your thoughts begin to control you. When you remember this, you take back your power. The problem is not that you think. The problem is that you identify yourself with every thought your mind throws at you. If a fearful thought appears, you believe you are afraid. If a negative thought appears, you believe you are weak. If a doubtful thought appears, you believe you are losing control. But these thoughts have no meaning until you attach meaning to them. They are simply passing impulses, not commands. A warrior learns to step back from his own mind. When a thought comes, he does not jump to react. He does not panic or assume it is true. He observes it like a third person. He asks, is this thought a reflection of reality, or is it just noise? When you observe instead of react, something powerful happens. the thought loses its strength. It becomes nothing but a momentary cloud drifting through the sky of your awareness. It cannot harm you, it cannot define you, and it cannot take control of your life. Most people drown in their thoughts because they treat every thought as if it is a voice of truth. But your mind generates thousands of thoughts every single day. Many of them contradict each other, many of them come from fear, and many of them appear because of stress, exhaustion, past experiences, or habits you no longer need. Why would you trust every thought that passes through your mind? You should not. A mature mind learns to separate wisdom from noise. When you understand that you are the observer, not the thought, you become untouchable. You gain space between you and what you are thinking. That space is where freedom lives. That space is where power grows. That space is where overthinking dies. Thoughts will continue to appear. This is natural. But their power over you disappears the moment you stop identifying with them. A thought like, "I'm not good enough," becomes just a sentence floating in your mind, not a truth about who you are. A thought like, "What if everything goes wrong?" becomes just noise, not a prediction of your future. You must learn to look at your thoughts the way a warrior looks at passing shadows, noticing them but not reacting to them. When you realize that you are the one watching, not the one being controlled, the entire battlefield of your mind transforms. This is how you break the chains of negative thinking, not by fighting your thoughts, but by recognizing that you were never the thoughts in the first place. You are the awareness behind them, and awareness is always stronger than fear. 3. Overthinking is a sign of fear. Face the fear, and the thinking stops. Overthinking is not a habit, it is a symptom of a deeper fear that you have not confronted. People imagine that they overthink because their mind is too active. No, the mind becomes noisy only when something inside you is afraid. Fear is the fuel behind every overcomplicated thought. The moment there is fear, the mind begins to create endless scenarios. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I lose everything? Notice something important. Every what if is built on fear, not truth. The mind becomes a prisoner of its own imagination because fear has taken the captain's seat. When you understand this, you stop trying to control your thoughts and instead begin addressing the real problem, the fear behind them. A warrior does not chase shadows, he aims for the source. If you try to calm your thoughts without facing your fear, the mind will become silent for a moment, but then create new problems, new doubts, new questions. Why? Because you have not removed the root. Fear creates mental storms, and when you run from fear, the storm grows stronger. You must face it, not tomorrow, not someday. The moment fear appears, turn toward it and ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? When you name your fear honestly, you weaken it. Most fears survive because you never look at them directly. You keep them in the dark, and anything kept in the dark becomes bigger than it really is. Look closely at your fear. Break it down. If you fear failure, ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? Can I survive that? Will it destroy me? You will find that the answer is almost always no. You fear judgment, yet the people you fear are fighting their own invisible battles. You fear making a mistake, yet mistakes are the very teachers that make you grow. You fear uncertainty, yet every great path is built through uncertain steps. The fear you run from is smaller than the fear you imagine. Overthinking is a desperate attempt by the mind to avoid discomfort. If it can create enough scenarios, maybe it can avoid pain, avoid embarrassment, avoid risk. But what it actually creates is paralysis. You waste time, energy, and peace of mind imagining outcomes instead of living your life. The mind becomes your master when it should be your servant. A warrior trains himself to walk straight into the heart of fear, not recklessly, but consciously. He knows that fear shrinks when he faces it. He knows that clarity appears when he stops running. The moment you turn toward your fear, the overthinking begins to dissolve, because now the mind has nothing left to protect you from. You are already confronting the truth. Understand this deeply. Fear is not the enemy. Running from fear is. When you avoid fear, it grows. When you face fear, it disappears. Overthinking is nothing more than the mind trying to protect you from something you refuse to confront. Solve the real problem. Face the fear, and the overthinking ends on its own. A calm mind is not achieved by silencing every thought. It is achieved by eliminating the fear that creates those thoughts. Once fear loses its power, the mind becomes still. Once fear is exposed, the mind stops creating illusions. And once fear is mastered, the warrior within you finally wakes up. Do not keep fighting your thoughts. They are not the enemy. The real opponent is the fear hiding behind them. Defeat that fear, and your mind becomes your ally instead of your cage. 4. Control your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. Your mind is like water. When it is calm, you can see your reflection in it clearly. When it is disturbed, even the truth becomes distorted. Most people do not suffer because their life is bad. They suffer because their focus is uncontrolled. They allow their attention to jump from doubt to fear, from past pain to future worry, from imaginary problems to unnecessary comparisons. They do not realize that the direction of their focus decides the direction of their entire life. Where you place your focus, your energy naturally follows. If you keep your attention on negative thoughts, your mind will grow darker. If you keep your attention on fear, your confidence will collapse. If you keep your attention on what could go wrong, your motivation will die before you even begin. The mind becomes a battlefield only when you surrender control of your focus. Understand this. You cannot stop thoughts from appearing, but you can decide which thoughts deserve your attention. A warrior does not waste his energy on every noise around him. He knows exactly what to focus on. He chooses one target, one purpose, one direction, and he places all his energy behind it. This is why he moves with power while others remain stuck in hesitation. Overthinking begins where focus ends. When you do not choose what to concentrate on, the mind chooses for you. And the mind always chooses the path of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Your thoughts begin to multiply because your attention is scattered. You start imagining outcomes instead of taking action. You create problems that do not exist. You replay memories that cannot be changed. You think about opinions that do not matter. This is what happens when you allow your focus to wander. Your inner power leaks away drop by drop. To free yourself from negative thoughts, you must learn to direct your focus with precision. When your mind throws a fearful thought at you, do not follow it. Shift your focus immediately. Redirect your attention to something that builds you, strengthens you, or moves you forward. A thought cannot survive without attention, and the moment you remove your focus from it, it loses its life. Action is the greatest enemy of overthinking. When you take action, even small action, the mind becomes quiet because it is forced to concentrate on the present moment. Action gives focus a place to rest. This is why warriors do not sit and imagine battles. They step into the battlefield. They trust movement more than mental noise. They know that clarity comes after action, not before it. Focus is a skill, and like every skill, it requires training. Sit alone for a few minutes daily and observe where your mind naturally tries to go. Bring it back gently, again and again. Train it the way you would train a young student, with patience but with firmness. The mind must learn that you are the master, not the other way around. When you control where your attention goes, you control your energy. When you control your energy, you control your life. Remember this truth. The world does not decide your strength, your focus does. If your focus is on what empowers you, you will rise. If your focus is on what weakens you, you will fall. Choose your focus the way a warrior chooses his target, wisely, deliberately, and with full awareness that your entire life depends on it. Where focus goes, energy flows, and where your energy flows, your destiny follows. Asterisk. 5. Train your mind daily. Discipline builds mental muscle. You cannot expect your mind to be strong if you never train it. People want peace, but they avoid the practices that create peace. They want clarity, but they refuse the discipline that sharpens clarity. The mind is a muscle, and like every muscle in the body, it weakens when you do not train it. A mind left untrained becomes restless, emotional, reactive, and easily controlled by fear, doubt, and external noise. A trained mind, however, becomes a weapon, sharp, steady, and under your command. Most people believe discipline is difficult, but the truth is simple. Lack of discipline is far more painful. A chaotic mind makes your days heavy, your decisions stressful, your emotions unstable, and your confidence fragile. Discipline gives you freedom from all of this. Discipline is not punishment. It is the path to becoming the highest version of yourself. Training the mind does not require complicated rituals. You do not need a mountain, a monastery, or a perfect environment. You need commitment. 5 minutes of true mental training can be more powerful than an hour of empty activity. Sit in silence every day, even for a short while. Close your eyes. Observe your breathing. Watch your thoughts without trying to control them. Let them appear and disappear. This simple practice strengthens the part of your mind that watches instead of reacts. That is the muscle of awareness. And the stronger your awareness becomes, the weaker negative thoughts become. Train your mind to return to the present moment. When your mind runs toward fear, bring it back. When it jumps to the past or the future, bring it back. When it tells you lies born from insecurity, bring it back. Do this again and again. This repetition is how the warrior's mind is forged. Every time you pull your attention back, you are lifting a weight. You are building strength. You are proving to your mind that you are the master. Discipline also means controlling what you allow into your mind. Be careful with the information you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, the people you spend time with. All of these shape the environment in which your mind lives. A warrior protects his inner space. He does not allow negativity, gossip, or empty noise to pollute his mental environment. He is selective, not because he is arrogant, but because he knows the value of his inner peace. You must also train your mind through action. A mind that takes action does not have time to overthink. When you move, when you create, when you challenge yourself daily, your mind becomes used to progress instead of fear. Every time you push yourself through resistance, waking up early, finishing tasks, avoiding distractions, speaking the truth, you strengthen the mental muscle of self-control. You teach your mind that your decisions matter more than your feelings. Consistency is the key. Even when you don't feel like training, train. Even when your mind feels heavy, train. Even when excuses whisper in your ear, train. A warrior does not wait for motivation. He relies on discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline creates transformation. When you train your mind daily, you build a foundation that cannot be shaken by circumstances, emotions, or other people. You become steady in chaos, calm under pressure, and sharp in moments where others break. You develop inner stability, the kind that does not depend on the world, but comes from within yourself. Remember this: a weak mind reacts, a strong mind chooses, and a trained mind creates its own reality. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. Train your mind daily, and you will discover that mental strength was never a gift. It was a skill waiting to be built. 6. Do not fight negative thoughts. Let them pass like clouds. Most people suffer not because negative thoughts appear, but because they fight them. They treat every negative thought like an enemy that must be defeated. But what happens when you fight a thought? You give it importance. You give it energy. You give it life. The more you push it away, the more it pushes back. The more you try to silence it, the louder it becomes. This is the mistake that traps the mind in endless loops of overthinking. You must understand something essential. Negative thoughts are not dangerous by themselves. They are simply movements of the mind, just like clouds moving across the sky. A cloud cannot harm the sky. A thought cannot harm your true self. The only harm comes when you attach yourself to it, when you believe it, when you hold it tightly and refuse to let it pass. A warrior does not chase clouds. He watches them drift without reacting. The mind becomes peaceful not by fighting, but by allowing. When a negative thought appears, do not panic. Do not judge yourself. Do not say, "Why am I thinking this? What is wrong with me?" There is nothing wrong with you. Thoughts appear because you are human. They come from memory, habit, fear, stress, insecurity, or past wounds. But they are not you. They are temporary visitors. Let them be. Let them pass. Imagine sitting near a river. Leaves fall into the water and float past. You do not run after them. You do not try to stop them. You simply watch them move downstream. This is how you must treat your thoughts. When a negative thought appears, acknowledge it gently. I see you. Then let it float through. Do not pick it up. Do not analyze it. Do not resist it. Resistance feeds it. Acceptance frees you. A warrior understands that peace comes from non-attachment. He does not allow his mind to drag him into battles that do not deserve his strength. He practices neutrality. When fear appears, he watches it. When doubt appears, he watches it. When anger appears, he watches it. He does not identify with any of them. This ability to observe without reacting is one of the highest forms of mental mastery. Most people try to control their thoughts by force. They imagine that if they fight hard enough, they can make negativity disappear. But the mind does not respond well to force. Control is achieved through awareness, not aggression. The more you relax into the moment, the weaker the negative thoughts become. The more you observe them instead of fighting them, the quicker they dissolve. Letting thoughts pass does not mean ignoring your problems. It means separating real problems from imaginary ones created by fear. It means giving your mind enough space to think clearly. When you are calm, you naturally know what needs action and what is only noise. When you are calm, negative thoughts lose their hooks. They cannot grab you, they cannot control you, they cannot pull you into suffering. To master your mind, remember this truth. Thoughts are temporary. They rise, they fall, they change, they disappear. You are the awareness that watches them. You are the sky behind the clouds. Clouds may come, clouds may go, but the sky remains untouched. The sky does not break. The sky does not chase anything. The sky simply exists in stillness. Become like the sky. Let everything pass through you without holding it. When you stop fighting your thoughts, they lose all power over you. When you stop fearing your thoughts, they lose their ability to disturb you. And when you learn to observe instead of react, you unlock the deepest level of mental freedom, the freedom to feel calm no matter what your mind creates. This is the silent strength of the warrior, the ability to let thoughts pass like clouds, untouched and unmoved. 7. Replace negativity with truth. Your mind obeys what you tell it. Your mind is always listening, even when you are silent, even when you speak only inside yourself. Every word you repeat, every thought you accept, every belief you hold, your mind absorbs it. It does not argue, it does not question, it obeys. This is why negativity is so dangerous, not because it is strong, but because the mind follows it without resistance when you repeat it often enough. If you constantly tell yourself, "I am weak," your mind will adjust your actions to match weakness. If you tell yourself, "I cannot change," your mind will block the path to growth. If you tell yourself, I always fail. Your mind will focus only on reasons to fail. You create your reality by the instructions you give your own mind. Most people are suffering not because life is cruel, but because their inner dialogue is. They speak to themselves in ways they would never allow others to speak to them. They insult themselves, doubt themselves, limit themselves, and then wonder why they feel trapped. A warrior understands that the mind is programmable. You can train it to destroy you, or you can train it to build you, but you must be intentional. When a negative thought appears, do not stop at simply observing it. Replace it with a thought of strength. Replace fear with truth. Replace doubt with clarity. Replace insecurity with self-respect. Your mind cannot hold two opposing beliefs at the same time. If you do not consciously plant empowering thoughts, negative ones will grow by default. Speak to yourself with the same discipline you expect in training. Tell yourself, I am capable, I am focused, I am in control. Not because these words magically fix everything, but because they direct your mind toward a stronger reality. Every affirmation is a command. Every repeated belief becomes a mental habit. And every mental habit eventually becomes your identity. Understand something deeply. Your mind believes whatever you feed it with consistency. If you feed it weakness for years, you become weak. If you feed it strength daily, you become strong. This transformation is slow, but it is unstoppable. Just as water reshapes stone through persistence, your repeated thoughts reshape your mind through discipline. Replacing negativity is not about lying to yourself. It is about returning to the truth that negative thoughts try to hide. It is about recognizing that your fears are exaggerated, your doubts are echoes from the past, and your insecurities are illusions created by a mind that was never trained. When you replace negativity with truth, you remove the layers of mental noise that have been covering your potential. Speak to yourself with intention. When your mind says you can't, answer with watch me. When your mind says you are not enough, answer with I am growing every day. When your mind tries to pull you into fear, answer with grounding truths. I am present. I am aware. I am stronger than this moment. Over time, these statements do not feel like forced phrases. They become your natural mindset. A warrior does not allow his mind to wander into darkness. He guides it, he commands it, he shapes it. He knows that the power to rise or fall begins long before he takes action. It begins with the thoughts he chooses to believe. You must become the guard of your own mind. Do not allow negativity to roam freely. Replace it. Redirect it, reinforce your inner strength daily. The mind is like a garden. If you do not plant flowers, weeds will grow on their own. Positive thinking is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about cultivating the thoughts that strengthen you so that the weeds of negativity have no space to grow. When you consistently replace negativity with truth, your mind transforms from a battlefield into a place of power. Remember this, your thoughts shape your destiny. Choose them with purpose. Speak to your mind as if your future depends on it, because it does. Train your thoughts like a warrior trains his body. Discipline your inner voice. Feed your mind strength, clarity, and truth until they become the only language you speak. Your mind obeys what you tell it, so tell it who you choose to become. You have walked with me through each lesson, and now you stand at a place most people never reach, the doorway to mastering your own mind. Understand this very clearly. The battles you fight outside are nothing compared to the battles inside your own head. The world can challenge you, people can doubt you, circumstances can shake you, but none of these can defeat you unless your own mind joins the enemy. When your mind is weak, even the smallest problem becomes heavy. But when your mind is strong, even the greatest challenge becomes light. Most people spend their lives trying to control the world around them while neglecting the one world they truly have power over. The world within. They try to control other people, control outcomes, control situations, control opinions. but they never learn to control the one thing that decides everything: their focus, their discipline, their inner dialogue, and their response to their own thoughts. When you master the inner world, the outer world cannot hurt you. I want you to remember something with absolute certainty. A negative thought has no power on its own. A fear has no weight unless you carry it. A doubt has no voice unless you give it room to speak. You become a warrior not by eliminating thoughts, but by mastering your relationship with them, by choosing awareness over reaction, by choosing courage over fear, by choosing discipline over chaos. This is how you forge a mind that cannot be broken. Your transformation begins the moment you stop running from yourself, the moment you stop believing every thought as truth, the moment you stop feeding the parts of you that make you small. Strength is not built in one day. It is built in every small moment where you choose control over confusion, clarity over noise, and presence over panic. This is the path of mastery. Do not underestimate the power of small daily discipline. The mind does not change through force. It changes through consistency. Each time you observe a thought without attaching to it, you grow. Each time you shift your focus towards something meaningful, you grow. Each time you face a fear instead of avoiding it, you grow. Each time you replace a negative belief with truth, you grow. And slowly, steadily, without even noticing, you become the version of yourself you once thought was impossible. Your mind is your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. The choice has always been yours. You can continue living in the prison of overthinking, or you can step into the freedom of awareness. You can continue letting fear lead you, or you can lead yourself. You can continue believing that your thoughts control you, or you can realize the truth. You control them. Stand firm in who you are becoming. Speak to your mind with authority. Protect your inner world with discipline. And walk forward with the calm confidence of a warrior who understands that no enemy exists outside that can defeat the enemy within, once the inner enemy has been mastered. Remember this always. Strength is not found in the absence of struggle. Strength is found in the mastery of the mind that faces the struggle. Train your mind and you train your destiny. Your journey does not end here. It begins now, in this moment, with every thought you choose to believe and every thought you choose to let go. Become the master of your inner world, and the outer world will no longer have power over you.